Hi everyone, welcome to Weekly Wed from Business School of AI. Weekly Wed is our happy place to share, learn, discuss, and explore. Weekly Wed occurs every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time. I'm your host, Yashaswini Vishwanath, and you can call me Yash. I'm logging from Bangalore, India, and I would like to know where you're all coming from. Please type away your name and location in the chat. We would like to get to know you better. I'm a data scientist who focuses on responsible AI here at Mindtree. I'm also pursuing my master's in artificial intelligence, and I'm Sudha's student of AI ethics and no-code AI. At Weekly Wed, we empower and enable the audience to break into AI or to explore more of it. Hi everyone, welcome to Weekly Vet, and this week we have a very special speaker with us, Yine Yenki. And Yine, welcome to Weekly Vet. We are very happy to have you here today. And Yine Yenki is the co-founder of GoGirlsICT. She's from Sudan, and we are very happy to have her here to understand what are the work she has been doing over the last couple of years. And we would like to learn what are the challenges she faced and how she overcame them. So, hi, Yine.
Hi, hi Yash. So my name is pronounced as Yine Yenki Nyika.
Yine Yenki.
Yes,
Yes,
Yine Yenki, but
Yenki
a lot of
is.
my friends call me Yain, so I think it's easier to pronounce it that way. Yes,
Ine Yenki, and how did you pronounce your last name?
Nyika.
Nika. Ine
Yes.
Yenki Nika. Welcome.
It's very complicated, but you can choose any yes. So I am the co-founder and mentorship director of GoGirls ICT initiative for the past almost 6 years. I founded GoGirls with a colleague when then I was working as an assistant lecturer at the College of Computer Science and Information Technology, University of Juba. And I was also acting as, I was the head department of computer science, just fresh from the university. So the inspiration came from the challenges and the limitations that I saw at the college, and seeing that there were we had one girl doing computer science and one girl doing IT. So the inspiration was to see how can we encourage more girls to be part of the tech revolution in South Sudan and contribute to the economy. And currently also I'm the independent director to the National Communications Authority, a body which is in charge of regulating and creating relevant policies in South Sudan in relation to the tech space.
Wow. Thanks, Yang. Thanks. Did I get your name right? Can you please pronounce it again?
You're almost close. Almost close.
Hello, good to see you now. Yep.
Yes, at least you can see my face.
So
Yine.
Yes. Yine.
I get now. I get it now. Apologies for telling it in the wrong way before. So now I got it. Yine, we are so happy to have you here, and I am very curious about the stuff that you have been doing all these years. I saw your website, Google's ICT, and there have been commendable works that you have done in the tech space, in the STEM related space for girls.
Thank you.
And Ine, could you tell me what was your motivation? You said there was only one girl in the IT, one girl in your class, and that drove you to do this. Did you have any other motivation for you to start this? Was there a burning fire in your heart that said, let us do this?
I think since a very young age, I always love challenges and I always love to grow. So throughout my university and secondary school level, I've always found myself in spaces just to build on me, to understand my purpose, to understand my motivations, to understand my inspirations. So I think that for so many years, that has been like the driving force. And I think that was even actually one of the forces that took me to do a course in computing, because I was not even actually thinking of anything related to technology, but just because of curiosity. I always want to see, I always ask questions. Why is this not happening? Why is this happening? Why not this? What are the causes? What are the challenges? Can I find a solution? So it's just like having all those personal questions that have become the driving force to actually push me to all these different avenues. Yeah.
Thank you. And I just have a question here.
Yes.
So IoT is being taught to the kids,
Mm-hmm.
and IoT projects have been conducted. So what is the driving force behind choosing IoT? Is that IoT creates value? Does it make impact? What is it that, why is that you chose IoT of all the subjects that are there and the many things that are out there? What caught your eye on IoT?
So why IoT and why goggles started to explore IoT? When we look at our South Sudan context, connectivity is very expensive. And we also have very poor infrastructure, much as all the different bodies are still trying to put infrastructure in place, but it's very still expensive. And it's about 9% who are always online. So it means almost 92% of the population is offline. So we are looking at remote communities, which are the vast majorities. And at the same time, from our side, we are looking at poor infrastructure. So as Go Girls, we are trying to ask ourselves questions: what best can work in our context? Or what best can work in South Sudan? And that was the path that led us to actually start exploring IoT as a solution to some of the challenges that we have here.
Yine, I see a lot of patriotism in your voice, in the way you talk about it, and you want to make a local impact. You
Yes.
want a local impact and change people's lives, touch their everyday life. So I would like to understand, what are the projects that you have been running?
So in relation to IoT, we have two main components. One of them is the repair cafes, which we realized works best for the schools, where the girls who have been part of the IoT trainings actually go to the schools and repair the computers of the schools and make sure the labs are running and everything is operational. So it's the responsibility of the girls who have gone through our IoT training to fix the electronic devices of the schools and of the teachers, so that learning can go on, because even repairing computers is very expensive and most schools can't afford. And from our side, we also want to encourage continuity of learning. So as people from the field, we believe it's our responsibility to contribute to that. Then secondly, there is a project which we are piloting at a very low level. We are exploring on the use of wearables, because in South Sudan, generally we have a higher number of gender-based violence, and we were trying to do a very simple research to see how we can build on devices, or how we can build on technologies that can actually make victims of violence report, or tools that can actually help authorities as policymakers. Which tools do we need that can help us in getting data and information? Then at the end, we can also be able to make the So at the end, so we can be able to make the necessary required solutions and decisions, because we believe with IoT, or if we explore wearables, look at
Can't hear her. So it's very fascinating.
Yeah. Yine,
I'm
we are
back.
here.
I got
Yes,
disconnected.
yes, you're back, and we're all
Yes, I'm
ears
back.
to hear about your project.
Yes,
So please
so
continue.
currently that is what we are exploring with a few of our mentees to see if it's possible or not before we can engage other policymakers or other stakeholders to see how we can build on that so that it benefits actually all women within South Sudan or victims of gender-based violence. So yeah.
Yine, can you tell me when you started off doing these projects with the girls, and when you started teaching them, and here I see the focus is that you want the girls to do something of their own with whatever they have learned. I just want to
True.
know what were the challenges you faced, like in terms of learning the technologies, and how you overcame them.
So I think one of the we realized as long as the girls are shown, they have a lot of interest in learning, really a lot. But I think one of the huge challenges that we've learned, we realize out of the many girls, you might find like 2 or 3 actually have the personal will to push. So I think that goes back now to our cultural limitations and the stereotypes that surround them and how they always believe and know, which is something that we are still trying to fight. So from our side, when we identify such challenges or such limitations, we normally pull out these participants or these girls who do best and they become part of us. So it means they earn something and they feel like they're also part of the process to creating a solution within their community. So that at least in future, when their other friends or another group of girls join, they're like, actually, if so and so was part of this training and she went through and she's now part of the team, I would love to be part of the team. So like that's one of the things that we adopted to overcome that challenge. Otherwise, we realize it's easy. People turn up for trainings. They do their trainings. As long as you're there, do this, do that. This is the angle you're supposed to. They will do it and they will do it perfectly because they have the will. But after that, it's like everyone steps back. And that is something that we are also trying to fight. Yes.
You talked about the variables which you had for
Yes.
the violence to avoid the violence or to do something in that space,
Yes.
societal impact project that is. So, can you talk about the variables that you were discussing?
So basically from our side, we are trying to explore if someone can just wear a very basic bracelet, but it shouldn't be just a bracelet. It should be, we are just trying to see all possibilities. Just like I said, we are still at a very low pilot level to see whether it will work or it will not, but we are all still, the whole idea is how can we explore wearables as a way to actually prevent or report gender-based violence cases in South Sudan. We are looking at something very basic, much less like a bracelet, not something that is very visible, because if it's very visible, someone could also be, their lives could also be endangered. So at the current times or at the current moment, it's just like something we are trying to see. So the whole target or the whole aim or how it will work from our side is we are looking at if someone is in danger, they should be able to press a button on this bracelet and immediately, because in South Sudan, we have a toll-free number where people report all these cases of gender-based violence. So from our side, we are looking at, instead of someone struggling to look for airtime or struggling to look for a phone, which is always very hard, because in most cases when someone becomes a victim, the first thing, the the person who is attacking tries to destroy is always their device, because they know with a phone you can easily report. So we are looking at just something very simple. They can press on their hand and immediately it sends a notification to the respective code, because we have a national code to report all these cases. So information is actually sent to that particular office that there's a case of gender-based violence in this location, or someone, there's something happening to someone in this particular location. So it's to notify the authorities. Because something very interesting that we also came and found out is, even when women report cases to court that someone tried to abuse me or manipulate me using an electronic device, these people say that evidence is not sufficient enough. So it means it still leaves women hanging. The fact that we're in a digital age, there is still gaps missing. So it's like even the authorities or even the people who sit at the high level, the policymakers still don't understand the power of technologies and the power of technologies when it comes to such crimes. So we believe with such simple technology, it will make things very easy for the women in our country to report such cases. One, two, even for authorities to actually understand there's a problem here and which kind of policies do we need in place. Three, for them to also consider that the fact that we are in a digital age, it's very important, or it's like a reminder for us to start thinking of this space and the cases of, and how gender-based violence is actually linked to such spaces.
Yine, I think
Yes.
whatever you're doing for Sudan, one day you can do it for the whole world and everybody can benefit. So,
we are trying. We are trying. But thank you.
whatever technology you're creating is so state of the art and innovative, and I'm sure the whole world can benefit out of what you're doing. So you were talking about the National Commission and the policies that you
Yeah,
bring in
National
there.
Communication Authority, yes.
Yeah, can you elaborate on that?
So the National Communication Authority is the regulatory body of South Sudan that looks into infrastructure development in the field of ICT and telecom. So I don't want to say basically, so yeah, I don't want to say, again, not basically. So I'm part of the board, or I'm part of the decision-making board.
That's nice. So,
Yes.
when you have when you have all these technologies that you teach to the girls and you make them do projects, so how do you identify what is it that makes them happy? What is it that they like in technology? So many people like different things in technology. How do you do that? Like, who likes what?
So I think at the end of the day, we look at interest and how someone is performing, because we also give them tasks and assignments. So we can be able to gauge that actually so-and-so would be good in this and so-and-so wouldn't be good in that. And the fact that we work, or the students that we mentor are already students who are at the university and doing this course, it's a bit easier because they are now in the field and they're at the university, but now we are trying to show them that, look, technology is evolving and you're supposed to be part of this. So it's very easy for them to always learn the technology that we are bringing into place for them to innovate and create. Yes.
Can you give us two or three examples of how these projects have been created and how they have made the impact? And also, I would like to show your website to the audience. So, can I just share screen and show the website to the audience?
Absolutely.
Yes, I would like to do that.
So maybe I can walk through. So I think our huge project that has really had impact, because it's like the mother of Go Girls. which is the Time to Shine ICT initiative, which basically focused on digital storytelling using Scratch for primary and secondary school. And for the past 5 years, we've worked through with some of the girls. Some of them are actually doing science courses at the university. And I think that's one of our huge milestones that we wanted to achieve, to see that girls actually can be able to make the decision that through secondary school, when I go to the university, I'm going to be doing computer science. When I go to the university, I'm strictly going to be doing science, because I already understand the dynamics of what I'm studying in secondary and where it's leading me to. So that's one of them. Then also the repair cafes. A lot of schools have benefited, because when these girls get to the schools, they make sure their labs and all their devices are working. And that obviously for a school, it means teachers can be able to create content, students can be able to continue using them.
Sorry to interrupt. Can we see this live on this on the screen? Yash is sharing the screen. Is Yash sharing the screen? I think if you go down to our projects, there are various projects.
Ah, yeah.
You want to go through one project at a time, Yash, so we can see it?
Oh my God, there are so many.
No, you were talking about the gender narrative through the lens. Is that what the project was, the storytelling?
No, gender narratives through the lens was one of our recent pilots that we did. This gender narratives through the lens and amplified gender voices, where a group of girls are creating audio content. And somehow that had also led us to a project, or something that we were actually working on during the time of COVID, which is called Classroom on Phone. So the whole idea came
Can you show us that on the screen?
Yes, perhaps.
You'll have to direct us on where you want us to go on the website.
It's still loading.
Yeah. So this gender narrative.
This is gender narratives through the lens. So this is basically about filmmaking and camera. And this also led to a mini project out of the mini projects that the students worked on, because gender narratives was film and audio content creation. So out of the audio content creation, there emerged a group also called Amplified Gender Voices, where they strictly focus on creation of audio content. I don't know whether that makes sense.
Yeah, I would like to go to the next project.
Yes.
So the project that you would like to talk about here, I would like to zoom on it. So
you can zoom on Classroom on Phone.
I'll do that.
Yes.
I really like the name, Classroom on Phone. I really like the name. I'm excited to hear about it.
So, Classroom on Phone, it was because of the pandemic. All the teachers, all the schools that we're working with, they were saying one of the huge challenges they had was now providing learning materials to the learners at home.
Yes.
So much as they try to give them handouts, they realized their students were finding it very hard to read and understand the content. They, as teachers, it was becoming very hectic. So we were like, okay, as technologists, what can we do? They tried the radio approach, where they have lessons through the radio, but it was becoming very challenging, because it's like students were not following. So the only emphasis they were putting on was radio and the materials that they print and they give to students. But with the time, they also realized the materials that they give to students, some parents actually hire other teachers to do the work for their child, and it's submitted as an assignment. So when they come to assess, they realize actually what they are assessing is work done by someone, not by the student. So they realized the approach of handouts was not working. So we said, fine, since that's not working from our side, we are going to focus on the science subjects, because most of the challenges were around the science subjects. It's a lot of reading, a lot of calculations, and students said they were not understanding. So and perhaps also we have limitations, no electricity, home chores, that's obvious because we are coming from the perspective of how as a girl child or how is the girl studying at home during this time. So classroom on phone, basically we create this content or we create a subject. I think you can check out on some of the links and listen to them. So we choose a particular topic. For example, chemistry, we can choose mixtures and try to explore which kind of experiments can this child actually do at home and have results and understand what mixtures are. But at the same time, we're like, okay, how are we going to deliver this content home? And that's where the idea of memory cards also came in, because we realized everyone has a future phone, and everyone almost has a memory card for songs and movies. So we wanted to take advantage. Instead of them putting songs and movies, can't they listen to actually this learning content using their phone, do these experiments and bring their work for the teachers to assess? So the teachers actually assesses the understanding of the child according to the experiments they have done at home.
That's nice. That's really nice.
So that
that
summarizes classroom on phone. But it's a pilot now that we are now trying to take it to a national level and see how NCA now can support, since they're into infrastructure development. And we see the future of classroom on phone on how we can improve learning, especially at the secondary and primary level, because we need more scientists for development.
Yes. Yes, that's the spirit. We need more of them. And let us go to the next project. So which would you like to choose?
So another inspiration that also came to us was Go Sanitize during the time of COVID.
Yes.
So maybe just a way, okay.
Is there a video?
Go Sanitize.
This?
Yes, this one. It's a very mini video. I want to play it. Nice.
Hello, my name is Yine Yenki. I'm from South Sudan. I'm the co-founder and mentorship director at GoGirlsICT initiative, and at the same time, the team leader for Go Sanitize. South Sudan mainly depends on imports from its neighboring countries. And as it joined the rest of the world in the fight against the pandemic, the demand for hand sanitizers and rubbing alcohol went high, and the prices in the local market shoot high that a common South Sudanese person couldn't afford to even get for themselves a hand sanitizer or a rubbing alcohol. So GoGirls has been working together with primary and secondary school teachers, especially science teachers, to create what we call the Open Science Framework for classroom experimentation. And the whole aim or the objective of the framework is how can we promote science using locally available reagents in the market rather than the expensive imported reagents which most schools in South Sudan cannot afford. Together with the 5 chemistry teachers from the secondary school and 10 local brewers within Juba, we exchange knowledge and ideas on the production of high quality and affordable hand sanitizers from locally available resources within South Sudan. And hence, this led to the birth of Go Sanitize, a social enterprise poised to raise great heights in the...
Yes, that was a very nice one. And yes, so tell us about it. How do you do it? What were the challenges you faced? And how did it create an impact? And what technology,
Wow.
did you use any technology in this? And was it something that you created using this plain science? How did you do that?
Looks like a chemistry project, made it a chemistry project, right? It's amazing.
Yeah, it led us to chemistry, but I think the whole inspiration came from the Open Science Framework for Classroom Experimentation. And at the same time, looking at available resources and available ways to innovate. That was the angle that we were coming from. And also, how could communities be part of the science revolution? Because we realized without engaging with communities, as long as we continue singing about science, they will never understand. So the communities have it. And that's why I think in the video earlier, they are teachers, because teachers have the knowledge. At the same time, they're also the local women who normally brew this alcohol for people to just drink, but this time we are looking at how can they actually make alcohol that can be used to make, that it can be used to make hand sanitizers. So yeah, so currently we are working on our lab to set up a complete lab space where production will take place. And yeah, I think the local women who have been brewing are going to be part of this process. So they will be paid for the work they will be doing, and it will be a product that will be selling in the market and perhaps maybe to hospitals, clinics, and also maybe as part of chemistry, we should be able to produce ethanol that schools can use for their lab experiments. So yeah. But it still goes back to the framework. So Classroom on Phone is actually part of the framework, the Open Science framework. And Go Sanitize is also part of the Open Science framework. Then even the IoT project, which we're experimenting at a very low level, is also part of the Open Science framework, because we are trying to explore different things. And at the end, we should be able to put a document, a whole complete document with all these projects, and perhaps it can be used as reference, or it can even be used for future learning. Yes. So even the repair cafes are part of the Open Science framework of how communities come on, yes, on how we become the driving force to create solutions to our communities, and at the same time, our communities are also engaged.
That is really good to know. And Yine, can you tell us about this project where they received the scholastic materials and
So yes, this is a part of the TOS ICT initiative. I call it the mother of goggles, because this is really like our very first project where all these other projects stemmed out. Yeah. So in this project, we mentor girls who are in primary and secondary school to pick interest in science subjects, so that at the university they should be able to select these courses very easily without any challenges. But of course, at the secondary level, we teach them mainly, we focus on digital storytelling using Scratch, because it's very easy for them to understand before we engage them in different other projects. So when students do their project very well till the end, they normally present to their parents. So when they present to their parents, we normally give them scholastic materials as a way of supporting them also in school, and supporting them in school, and also creating like a continuity in their learning, because the whole idea of Time to Shine ICT was to actually give them electronic devices at the end if every student manages, or students in their different teams manage to do their projects. But with time, we realize actually these students don't actually need the electronic devices apart from the team that trains them, because most of them, some are struggling with basic scholastic materials to continue learning. Some are even struggling with school fees. So we have the TOS ICTs coupled with a scholarship program for 1 year, where these girls, yes, where these girls, the girls who have participated and created their projects till the end, and they have performed very well, and their school has also performed very well in this competition, we pay for their fees for 1 year. So that to give parents time maybe to plan for the next step, they can be able to pick up, as we also within our scope and energy, or within our environment, we also try and look out for Samaritans who would love to support some of these girls to actually continue learning. So the scholastic is like to say, okay, next time your school is catered for, your fees is catered for, and your work is just to continue learning. And it's not only the scholastic, we also have a counseling. So there is counseling and follow up with the schools to find out which child has challenges, what are they struggling with, how can we support. And in this same project, we have our integral project. I don't know if you can go to, which is the family visit. So the family visit is actually to connect with the families and the communities, including the teachers, where these girls come from, so that they are part of the, I think go to the family visit, yes, the family visit program. Yes. So that the parents of these girls feel like they are part of the whole process of the learning. They know that their child is in this program. They are learning how to tell stories using this application. And after learning how to tell stories using this application, they will still come back to them and present. So we came up with the family visit because at some point when we were doing the mentorship, we realized most girls were being pulled out of our programs because their parents never understood. They thought these girls were just dodging work at home. And also there's the society believes that technology has done so much havoc than good, that whatever kids see on TV, they imitate. So it's even the first time when we went to school, every year was like, no, phones spoil students, computers spoil our students. So from our side, we wanted to show them that no, there is a lot these kids can do with these technologies. There is a lot they can do with this computer. And you as a parent, actually, then you'll also come and see what this child has done. So perhaps maybe that's why we always, at the end of every program, we normally have tasks, which are projects, which the student has to present to the parents. So after presenting, we also, after presenting, we also realize at the end, it's actually good also for the parents and the teachers to exchange knowledge. So we have what we call the joint family visit that normally closes this whole program, where all the parents meet in one home and the teachers. So they cook their food and they just chat and talk about which challenges their child is facing and how they can support each other. So it's a whole cycle of tech, communities, all together.
Yes. So we saw a lot of projects, educational, technology related, community based, societal impact. You have the UN SDGs and you're taking care of them. So I'll move out of the website now and
One
I'll
question I have,
okay.
Ine. I had one question for Ine.
Yes,
Ine,
please.
This is Suresh. I'm very, very happy with all the good work that you've been doing. So one question I have is, how do you, is this part of a school or is it outside the school that you run these programs?
Oh, so how can I say, we call it a mobile mentorship program. So we go to the schools where these girls are. Yes. So we select a school, we talk to the authorities, and when they say they're okay with it, we create a whole complete timetable which is integrated into their normal school curriculum and learning, and they also learn through us until the end. So when the term closes, they've also done their projects, which they'll come and present to their teachers and to their parents. So it's a mobile program.
Thank you. So if the kid has to take, let's say, 5 classes like chemistry, physics, biology, or things like that, so this will be an additional class that they come? Or
it's like, exactly. It's categorized under extra curriculum activities. That's how the schools call it, because still on their timetable, they normally have that time. So instead of some going to play football, others will be in this mentorship program.
I see.
Yes. Sudha has something to tell you.
Yes, please.
Yes, thank you. So I actually wanted to, add a comment, because one of the things I always find fascinating is when we bring people from various parts of the world, you're coming at it from your own world, your local society.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so for me, I just feel it very fascinating. Sorry. I find it very fascinating when I see the parallel, and it feels like we're all the same, and technology usually does that to us. And you are showing that bringing technology to students early on so that they will have an interest in STEM or solving local problems is very fascinating. So we have this thing called after school programs, what you said as extracurricular programs. So in our schools here in US, after the class is over, then there'll be a bunch of other classes. And you're one organization who's doing that. In my world, there will be many organizations. They'll compete and somebody will come and teach keyboard music to the student. So there is one organization here called Girls Who Code, which is trying to bring more girls into tech, to coding. And what they do is they do this after school program. So I myself have volunteered as a parent to get students in the 7th grade. We didn't do this at elementary level. At 7th grade, to actually come and learn to build a robot, or do something, learn kind of scratch programming or something based on the levels of it, right?
Yes.
So the part you said about how you actually educate the parents is very, very important. Because personally, I was the first engineer in my family. My parents were all, math people, right? Accountants and the like. So I had to, everything I bring home was new to them, but they were very supportive of me. But if this happens too early on, the parents would redirect the kids' interest somewhere else.
Yes.
So in US, we have a parallel of that. Every time we send our kids to a science camp, so in summer there would be a 1-week program. They would learn something, right? And there are a bunch of different 1-week programs. That's how our kids spend our entire summer, doing multiple things, but staying in learning mode. That's very common. Or we have after school programs where at the end of a whole semester, they will finish something. So there's always a show, what we call a show and tell. And so the parents are invited, and we come together as a community. Or if it's music, it'll be spring recital, or it is show and tell, and the students will all show what they've built. And it's not just one kid or few kids are selected, every kid will show. Then the entire parent community is supportive of everybody else. So I took it for granted. I never stopped to think the role we were playing in engaging. We were just like, yes, it's beautiful, so sweet, the kids are doing this. I didn't realize that how you actually had to seed it to get the parents to buy into this.
It was hard.
And they do contribute back to encouraging the child to go forward doing that. And I didn't stop to think that, that happened with me when my parents, were not engineers, right? I did not know that. This is fascinating. So thank you so much. Thank you, Yash.
You're welcome. Yeah. Thank you too.
Thank you.
I have one question. If there is enough time, I would like to see something of what they have built. I know you are showing only from your website, but I saw some circuits and stuff. So we started out thinking of, you're building IoT, and we were like, oh, we have cool IoT. What are they building, right? And you showed us how you're practically bringing it home to solve local problems. But I would like to see when they repair IoT, what kind of IoT, like a little bit more on the what you have that's different, or maybe same, I don't know. I would like to see that if you have any example pictures that you can talk to from your website.
I think, let her check. Let her check on the IoT. Let her check. But I think with this new pilot that we are doing, when we are done, I will put you in the loop.
Okay.
Yes.
So I do see some, it's called Akira Chicks. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, Akira Chicks.
Yeah, Yash, can you share this back again?
Yeah. Yes, I was just up to that.
Thank you. And Suresh still has his hand up.
Oh.
No, so the question I had for Yine is, how do you come up with all of these interesting ideas? Right? I mean, so what is your background? And I'm sorry to ask you, how did you come up with
I forgot. My background is computer science. The other co-founder is ICT4D. The other co-founder is her background is IT. So I think we are tech who easily understand our context, and we always, when we find a challenge, we find another solution. So all these different projects emerged from different challenges and our context. You remember? I said we have very poor infrastructure, so we struggle a lot. So I think it's out of all these struggles that we say, oh, what if we do this? What if we try this? Sometimes normally it looks very minor until we actually see it work, and a development partner picks interest, and they're like, okay, could you ladies scale up on this? Because they see it actually works. So
Now, how are these projects funded? So I know you run the program in the schools.
Yeah. So for the Time to Shine Strictly, it's a project funded by UNDP South Sudan. We have a unit called, there's a department called Peace and Community Cohesion Project. So they're the ones who fund strictly that because they are interested in how technology leads to peace building and development. So for all these years, they have been funding that. Then for IoT, we are part of a network called Access to Skills and Knowledge Network, abbreviated as AskNet. I think that's why you're seeing Ask Riot. So it's a German organization called Rogue Agency for Open Culture and Critical Transformation with funds from BMZ. So they have funds in a way that for them, they're looking at development of local hubs. But from our side, when we get that money for development, we said use it to pilot ideas and see what works. Then we look for different development partners to pick them up. Then we also had USAID through Internews. Then for Go Sanitize, it's again UNDP, but Accelerator Labs are now the ones giving the funds. So we realize different funders pick interest in different projects and they want to keep the projects to themselves. So somehow we continue having all these activities almost throughout the year, or if one funder is waiting for the other, we still have running activities. Then, there's something with access. Ask Riot, access to skills and knowledge related to IoT. So I think this is.
Sorry. Are you constrained by? Are you constrained by the funds, or are you constrained by the people having mind blocks that the technology is not good, or what I'm asking is, let's say if you have all the funds you need, will you be able to expand to all the schools, or is it the policy that is stopping from expanding? So what are the roadblocks that you're seeing right now?
I think at first the huge roadblock, of course, that we saw is funds, because it was even very hard for us to pitch our very first idea because no one was understanding how technology could lead to social cohesion or communities and development. Like that was the hardest, which we had to struggle for so many years, slowly by slowly. That's why I think perhaps other partners joined, because now they are trying to understand, because when they see South Sudan, their focus is all peace building. Everything has to be about peace, social cohesion. But now we are coming with something different and we are talking of technology. So it's like, it's a hard push from our side, really a hard push. But I'm glad that the past years or the past 5 years are starting to yield fruits. Maybe perhaps that's why I can be able to now sit at a regulatory body, because they are now asking which projects can they lobby for, and they're injecting more funds to benefit more South Sudanese.
Now, is this project specifically geared to the girls, or if the boys are also facing similar things and there's another organization that handles this? Or because I understand that there's a gender difference, right? I understand that.
So we have boys, but we make sure the boys don't overshadow the girls. Okay. Really. So if we are taking 60% girls, the boys have to be 40%. Because we are looking at the end of the day, even if they are scaled to a national level, it should come from the angle of gender, understanding that if this is to benefit both genders, it has to be in this direction. Right. So for us, I think, yes, we are seeing all our projects from that angle, because the beauty that I love with boys are very aggressive. I can tell you that. They are very aggressive. They listen to you. You tell them do this, they will do it, and they will do it perfectly well. But girls, I don't know. Sometimes they are very happy about it. Then all of a sudden they just lose interest.
Got it.
Yes. Yeah.
Suresh,
what was I even supposed to talk about? About Achira Chicks.
Tell me, Sudha.
Yes, no, I wanted to add a comment, because one of the discussion about getting more women into tech is a universal problem. I think, when I came from India and I had done computer science, I had 50-50 boys and girls in the class. So I did not understand that when I came to US, and slowly I saw the number of women in tech to be not 50%, and as you grow in more levels and more interesting cutting edge projects, there's more women. And so a lot of research has been done about this, and one published research says that even adult women will not take up new jobs or new opportunities. Say AI is a new field, or even IoT is, certain aspects is new field. Women will even sign up to take up that job or take up that project only when they have already done it, or they've learned and they think they have more than 60% skills. Whereas the way it is not just one country or one culture, but because they see more role models, when there are more guys out there as CEOs, if you see majority are guys out there. So guys tend to sign up and say, yes, I want to learn this or do this project much sooner. Like, even if they don't know it, they'll be like, give me a chance, I'll go learn it. So that is one. And my personal observation when I was teaching girls to code at the 10, 12 years old, is there are brilliant girls who have the encouragement, if they have the school supports that, or they have siblings like that, family like that, they will just do it, right? So we might not see that difference here in Silicon Valley when we look at the younger kids, because most of us are in tech, and boys and girls, a lot of them are doing that. But even in Silicon Valley, we find that the girls would stop coding or go away from science and math projects when they go to high school. The number of girls will reduce because they don't see as many. So students want to be doing similar things to what is fun is what everybody's doing together. And so slowly I've seen that, because I mentor in those circles and, volunteer, and I'm judges on many of these competitions, and it comes down to the numbers, unfortunately, what you're talking about. So I like that, bringing family in and getting them excited about science in general, not just coding early on, right from when they are kids, is amazing, because I can see that, right? If you like physics, if you like chemistry, you're obviously going to gravitate towards, when you're introduced circuits and IoT, it's not going to be too far off, So that's fantastic.
Is the government or the policymakers helping you in this effort, or could they do anything? Is there something that you're working with the policymakers to make this as a standard in all the schools?
So I think at the very previously we were a bit far, but the fact that I sit there, it's now like me telling them, no, if we want this to work, we have to do it this way, and this has to work. So I think at the moment, what has been tabled is what has been tabled at the national level that we are discussing about is classroom on phone. How can it be expanded to even help the communities which are affected by floods? Because we have so many of those students who are at home and they can't do anything because schools are all filled with water. So it's like a discussion, how can they continue learning, and how could classroom on phone actually be an opportunity for them to continue learning even when there are floods? So it's like now these are discussions which began at grassroots with just us interacting with teachers and families and these girls, but now it's being tabled at the national level. Then another thing also with the time to shine, I said earlier we have competitions, but these competitions are only limited to a very smaller group of students who have participated because of limited funds. But at the national level, there is an event which was created called the Town Hall event. And one of the ways is for us now to explore and see how could we actually take advantage of the Town Hall event, which is always about the NCA as a regulatory body, just telling the public about the projects they are doing, but not engaging with the public. So from the angle of policy or as a policymaker, what I'm seeing or what we resolved was it shouldn't just be about them updating, but it should be a day filled with several events and several tech-related events. So it means at national level, they have to allocate enough funds to support several incubations or several hubs and several ideas so that they can come to such an event and could be potential investors or potential partners or stakeholders could actually see and realize that we need this at a national level, and how can we continue supporting such efforts.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, Yine. Very impressed with the work that you've been doing. Very, very impressed.
Yes, Yine. This was a wonderful session and we learned so much
Yeah,
from the session.
it was. Like, I mean, I think I should be attending the weekly sessions. Like, this is the first time I connect and it all works like magic.
Yes. You got to come every weekly where we have speakers from all over the world, and there is so much to learn and explore here. So we would be
Absolutely.
very happy to have you in the audience.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Does Henry have a question? Because I want to know whether Henry has all the information he wants. He's been very quiet. Usually he has a lot of questions.
Hi, yes, thank you. So what city are you speaking to us from?
Oh my. I'm in Juba, South Sudan. I forgot to even introduce myself.
Yeah, that's what I was actually kind of missing. My understanding that there's some question about a working government and how things have gone, of course, since independence. You mentioned
Henry, I have a question. So what is your question, whether their government is supporting the projects, or do you think there is instability that is an issue? What is your question?
Yeah. I know only what I've done in reporting, and so this is something of very interest to me. Yeah, this is very good. Thank you so much for being here and enlightening us on the situation there. Anything you can do to enlighten us on the situation in South Sudan. Thank you.
Oh wow, thank you too. And you're welcome.
And Yine, I would like to add, I have a 7-year-old girl and a girl child, and she started coding when she was 5. So I taught her coding using the stuff that was freely available. And I'm very big on girls learning tech. It is something that's very close to my heart. Yes. And when I see the impact you have done and the way you have brought in technology, there is so much technological innovation that you have been doing. And trust me, the world needs whatever you're doing, not just Sudan. The whole world needs what you're doing. We need Yine Yenki to cheer for everybody in the world, to bring her innovation to the whole world. This is like a window for me to learn about you, and I would like to connect with you. And on behalf of Weekly Wed, I would like to really thank you on behalf of everybody here for coming and sharing your experiences. And you know, it's such an inspiration to see all these girls doing this. And as I said, the world needs you. And more to Yine Yenki to the world. Thank you.
And the world needs Weekly Wed. Like, yes, we need this. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yeah. Please join us every Wednesday.
Yes,
it's at 9
I will try as much as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you, Yine.
Thank you too. Bye.
Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Bye.